Let's talk about Newcastle United. Are they going to win the league? It's between them and Leicester. Who's going to catch City? Newcastle's
Whoa.
plus one.
Whoa, Arsenal.
Look, BJ,
Whoa,
I hate to tell you this.
I was
I hate to tell you this
when I said on the preseason pod that Arsenal might be better than Tottenham. And look how far we've come.
It's November. This is a long season.
Yeah, I'm not getting
at this point. Last year, what were we looking at? Newcastle plus 130, Chelsea 2-1. The draw here is plus 240. All three of us are in agreement here. It's got to be Newcastle. The way Chelsea's going, Chelsea's squad is. I mean, they might not even show up. I could see like
everybody's going to the World Cup except for Jorginho.
Yeah, just like not
crazy.
They're in shambles.
Yeah, and it's like exactly. It's like such a team in flux. Now you got everybody getting ready to go to Qatar. They already watched two of their teammates get hurt and miss the World Cup through those injuries for their team. Like, if I'm Raheem Sterling, I'm just like,
Christian Pulisic, please don't play in this.
Yeah,
match.
I'm not playing. It might be Pulisic because everyone else is going to beg out.
Aubameyang can play, but
yeah, Aubameyang
that would be the equivalent of playing with 10 men.
Meanwhile, Newcastle, they've got a lot of World Cup.
He had four touches.
Nothing personal, Aubameyang.
Yeah,
nothing personal.
Was that the Gabriel tweet?
That was
when he signed for Chelsea. He said, "Hey, Arsenal, it's nothing personal." Well, nothing personal, Aubameyang.
4 touches. He's cooked. And Chelsea's attack is cooked. And I have Newcastle rated just as good as Chelsea at the moment.
Better.
And that's depending on how I mess with priors from last season, Newcastle's better than Chelsea. And I think that boat will continue to head in those directions. So I like Newcastle here on the money line. I also think this is a really good alt line play. Like if you're looking to chase a payment, -1.5, great spot at home. Newcastle have been dominant at home. We've talked about that. I think like every week at this point about how good they've been. And that was against the non-big six sides. Chelsea's attack is the equivalent of a non-big six side right now, the way that they're not producing away from anywhere for that matter. But yeah, Newcastle have allowed 5.8 expected goals at home this season in 7 matches, and they've only conceded 5. They've produced 14.5 expected. That puts them as the 3rd best home team in the league this year. They haven't been very good away from home, which is interesting, but at least in front of those home fans, Chelsea, absolute disaster, terrible spot. Give me Newcastle at home, and I'm probably going to sprinkle some -1.5 too.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean the Arsenal match on Sunday was just like similar to the Brighton match, just a culmination of what we've been talking about with Chelsea for a long time. I mean, Arsenal completely dominated them. Like Chelsea only had 0.3 expected goals. Like Arsenal tilted the field on them 66%. Chelsea committed 10 high
too.
Yeah, and Chelsea committed 10 high turnovers. Like that is very concerning. And who's to say Newcastle can't do the exact same thing that Arsenal did to them? I mean, Newcastle is one of the best pressing teams in the Premier League. Like they have the 2nd most high turnovers per 90. They're top 6 in tilting the field. Like Anthony mentioned, they're incredible defensively. And even if we're looking at expected goal differential, I mean, Chelsea's sitting at -0.25 per 90. Newcastle's up at 0.68 plus 0.68 per 90. Like Newcastle has been almost a full goal better than Chelsea this season. And man, if Brighton didn't have such a great manager right now, I'd be like, can Potter just go back to Brighton and find the magic again? Because it's been really, really bad. And like we already mentioned with the injuries, like they're down their best 2 fullbacks right now. They're down N'Golo Kante. Like all of their players are about to go to the World Cup. They like Anthony mentioned with Tottenham, a team that is absolutely begging for the World Cup break is Chelsea right now. And Newcastle, I mean, who's the only guy that's going to the World Cup there? It's pretty much Guimaraes, and that's about it. Like
maybe Callum Wilson.
Maybe Kieran
Trippier.
Trippier is going.
Trippier now that obviously
Nick Pope.
Yeah, the Reece James and Walker are hurt, but like 2
Trippier
guys, like it's going to be Chelsea's entire roster going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like I agree with Anthony. Like you want to chase a big price here. I love Newcastle at +140. I think they can do exactly what Arsenal did to Chelsea last Sunday.
Yeah, and like you said, I think this is a team that is begging for the break, and it's a manager begging for it, right?
Yeah.
He finally gets to have some time to work with the 3 players on the squad that aren't going to the World Cup. And
Aubameyang and Jorginho.
Yeah.
Broja.
Yes, it's a good spot for Newcastle. By the way, quick trivia question, Anthony, before I go back to you. I don't know if you remember a couple months ago when Newcastle was doing that thing where they just kept drawing, and I was like, how many wins does Newcastle have? And at the time, they were like 1-4-1. Do you know how many losses they have this season? 1.
So Liverpool when
In
Guimaraes
stoppage time,
in stoppage time, and they had a red card from Joe Linton. Guimaraes didn't play, and Alan St. Maximin didn't play.
Anthony, you want to close this one out for us before we move on to our final 3 matches on the Premier League?
Yeah, it's kind of just more big picture about Chelsea. I mean, we talked preseason about how they had 2 major concerns with their depth problems, and they got a bunch of injuries at those 2 positions. They're cooked right now. And that doesn't mean they're going to be cooked forever, but like their fullbacks are cooked in terms of injuries and issues there. And their center midfield, they didn't address it enough in the offseason, and they're paying for it.